Today we're going to be talking about measurement by Miss Lilí, Milushka, Ase. From the time that we are born, the doctors start by taking our weight and measuring us. And this is very important for us because that's how we know how much we are weighing and how tall we are. And they keep taking our measurements and our weights through every year and through the course of our lives. So, how useful are measurements? Well, as you can see for this image, when we don't measure correctly, things can go really wrong. Well, we do not want to do that. Therefore, we take great cautions when we measure things. Therefore, I'm going to show you a few tips. Whenever I'm thinking about measuring, I'm always thinking about sports because we use different kind of measuring. We're using jars to measure sports, kicking the balls. I'm thinking about soccer, the velocity which the soccer players are kicking balls, when they're running, the time that they're running, and different connections that we can make. I'm going to share with you guys this chart that I created with the conversions from the metric system to the standard system. In United States, we use pounds and inches and yards, and in other parts of the world, they use centimeters and meters and kilometers. So I want to make sure that we learn those conversions. Moving along with the conversions, we also have volume conversions. We have cups and quarters and pins and gallons, and those also use ounces and volumes and liters. So we have to be mindful of those things because they're important in many different applications. In here we have other measuring tools. This one is a ruler. We have a measuring tape, which you can use to measure yourself, your body. You can use it to measure some fabric if you want to decide to do something like that. And here's a power lock that constructors use, carpenters. You're probably more used to seeing these type of scales. One is used at the doctor's office. Every time you go to a checkup, they weigh you. And the other one is at your supermarket. You'll see it in every section that has the produce. And you can weigh it every time you go and put some produce, your potatoes, your onions, your fruit. And this is very useful. It's important to know that we can measure even when we don't have a ruler. We can create our own measurement. However, I recommend always to try to find a ruler to make sure that we have the right measurements. But for this moment, I just use a hand sanitizer because I couldn't find my ruler. And this one measures 4 small hand sanitizers. So why is it important to measure things? It is important because it gives us a perspective of how things are compared to others. And why do we need them? And how important they are in our lives. If we don't measure them right, then things can go wrong. If you don't measure the table, then the table is going to be crooked. If you want to build a house, you need to have the right measurements in order for everything to fit properly. If you want to bake a cake, you need to have the right measurements in order to make a cake, so it'll have the right height and everything else. So we have to use right measurements and the proper conversions for everything that we do.